Nice.
Yeah.
Mid-season form.
I just carried it over. There's no break anymore.
You're dialed
We're
in. You're
just
dialed
dialed
in.
in from the start. No slouching. I prepared in camp. I was ready for the season, coming in
Improved
strong.
your game during the summer. Yep.
Yeah, I'm in the gym. I don't skip leg day. Uh, I'm out here every
Cracked me
day.
on that. Cracked me on that one.
uh, welcome with week two of Tuesdays in Delaware. We're still in Delaware, folks. We have
Technically
committed.
Wednesday, but
It is always reminding. Thank you for the fans. It is Wednesday. Score one for Delaware Court last week. We won't have to say anything else there, but that's all we have to say. So big week. This is host rivalry week one of two probably for the season. So we will have some thoughts there.
Battle of the Pod. I don't know. We
Mostly
got to
of
come up with a name for that.
oh, that's a missed opportunity. We'll have to. We need a we
We'll
need a
revisit it.
yeah, we need some branding. It's
Perhaps
pretty
a musical
lopsided.
effect.
It's pretty lopsided. So like maybe you'll have to consider what you'll have to think about that. So, uh, we
Yeah,
will.
yeah. Talk it up. Talk it up.
I am happy though to say that you have come back from your purgatory in the uh Jailblazers penalty corner. I appreciate that you have learned again where you're at and what show you're on. So I thank you for returning to the adult table.
The only
And
reason I'm at the adult table is because they've only played one game since we last spoke. Because they had a random, like, almost a week off. So this is all circumstantial. Next week you could be having to mute me 83 more times.
I will watch. I am going to keep tabs. I do worry this season.
I have it on in the background, so you might hear just like a loud exclamation on a Shaden Sharp dunk or something.
I look forward to as the season progresses. Like you just start wearing more jerseys. Like at the end, you have like 40.
I could do the like from Friends. Could I be wearing any more jerseys?
Yes, exactly. But welcome back. We'll talk about our matchup. We'll have some early season good vibe, bad vibes. Players who we like that are you know really doing some good work already, and then players who are disappointing everybody. But really, I think it's appropriate, given all of the circumstances. We should start where the bad vibes are forged in hatred and sadness. The Nets
Anti-Semitism
and anti-Semitism.
Don't forget that one.
The Nets are bad. Have you watched one of their games? It's bad. They're
I
so
haven't
bad.
watched a whole game. I tend to not watch teams I don't like. I tend to avoid them. Unlike you, who seems to like to hate watch teams.
They played the Bulls,
Oh, there you
so
go. Okay.
lay off. All right, all right.
Back off, man.
So I did watch that. They are it. Oh man, they got the whole like they just hand whoever brings the ball up takes a shot situation right now, and it's just miserable to watch.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like probably a your turn, my turn kind of thing. Not from having seen much, but just from the way that those pieces fit together.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, we got Nash is out, the coach is out to
Out.
be replaced by Udoka, which is an interesting to say the least. We still don't know what he did, right? Like
No,
fully, we don't know fully what he did.
there is some measure of assumed inappropriate relationship with an underling.
Right.
But
In some
so
way
like
or another.
okay, let's game out this conversation. So does the Brooklyn GM call up the Celtics and like, hey, we could take this problem off your hands? And is the Celtics person like, sure?
The
Like how
Celtics person is like, oh, hell yeah, because now they don't have to pay him. It sounds like they're not even going to seek any kind of like, usually if you sign away an existing coach, there's some sort of compensation. And all the reports say that they're just not going to ask for anything. So they're just like, yes, please solve this problem for us and let us move on.
Or do you think that there is some like Machiavellian person in the Celtics office who's like, we should call the Nets? Like
Good, good. Let's
it's
fuck with them some more.
it's
We already ruined them for like a decade. Let's do it again.
I didn't even think about that connection. That's brilliant. Like the ghost of the trades
Yeah,
past came back.
Danny Ainge is gone, so it's not him. I don't know who's left from that era, but
I just it's you can't make it up. Like you couldn't put this in like well
real
ballers.
life is
You
definitely stranger than fiction at this point.
you couldn't have walked into the ballers writing room with this pitch. Ever been like, get out of here. That's ridiculous.
Especially because it's about football. So that
Is
also,
it?
yes.
It shows you how much I'm with the culture.
Yep. Not up on your rock entertainment.
No.
Anyway, so like, what do you think about? I actually kind of like Udoka for them, which is like of the people who were out there, he kind of makes some sense because he did what he did do for Boston. Regardless of whatever the other things that he has done that we are not totally sure about, is he got these like misfit pieces that didn't seem to really fit together or like each other very much to play together. And like as much and there's a lot of problems with Brooklyn beyond that. Like they're really like not a very well put together roster at all. But if you could get those misplaced parts to play together, Durant is so good that he could make up for a lot of the problems.
Sure.
So I could see him being good for them in a way that maybe Nash wasn't. And I don't know. It's hard to judge what if Nash is a good coach or not because he had to inherit that dumpster fire and like never really coached anywhere before that. Whereas Udoka had like a million years as an assistant coach first.
Yeah, I mean, if like on the court performance, Udoka is like clearly a good basketball coach.
Yeah.
Like the Celtics, like they're a good team, but they overperformed like across the board last year as a team unit, especially given the fact of where they started at the beginning of the season, being like their own hot dumpster fire. So like
Yes.
you can't. No, I don't think anybody could argue otherwise. So I think like yeah, of the options available, what are you gonna go grab like a Van Gundy, from the set?
No,
Like
thank you.
who's even out there who's like a
Who
real
even
coach?
want it also? Like,
Yeah.
he's in a weird situation in which he probably was like would have jumped at any offer to get out of there because he wants to be back on the bench.
Another part of this call slash conversation between these GMs that I want to know of like, ooh, like what if we can get him cheap?
Right.
Like, just awesome, just
I don't
amazing.
know. None of it makes any sense. The Nets, I just can't.
And on Nash, I think it's all of the above. I think it's he's probably not a great coach. Uh,
We
they're
just
just
don't know.
like, but on top, but with that, like he clearly has very limited latitude to do things like with the players, even like they clearly probably don't. Even though they picked him, like even wasn't him and wasn't Durant and Kyrie like we want Nash? Like wasn't
Well,
that
no, Kyrie was like, we don't really need a coach. We can run ourselves.
yeah,
Which is
great.
like, okay, yeah, yeah, you're showing that you've done a great job with that guy.
Yeah. So I both uh definitely believe that we couldn't like no matter what his output was influenced by the insanity, but at the same time like he also doesn't seem to make good tactical decisions during the games. Like he doesn't seem to do anything. And maybe he's smarter than everybody else and he's like I'm going to get paid. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
GTFO.
Yeah, and like bye-bye. So good. And if that's the case, good on him because like at some point that's like he can still probably he can now like he can go walk into the next GM's office and be like, I bailed out of a bad situation. I would like to restart again. Here's how this works. And he can still do that, right? He didn't light his whole career on fire by like, I don't know, going 30 and 50 this season with that team. Like
Right.
so
Yeah, it's good to get off off the sinking ship. Speaking of getting off the sinking ship, James Harden looking pretty good right now. For busting his way out of there and seeing the writing on the wall.
I mean,
Not that Philly is a whole lot better, but like,
yeah, exactly.
but it couldn't be worse
True.
than that. Like, I guess he could have forced his way onto the Lakers or something, but like, actually, that team would have been amazing if it was him instead of Westbrook. But
That team is better with anybody else.
yeah, just true. I'm curious why they don't. This is a tangent. We'll go like quick Lakers because no one wants to fuck them. Who cares? I'm curious why they haven't just paid him to go sit at home.
I
Like,
I think the same. How have they not bought him out? I can't. I'm
no, you don't have
surprised.
to buy him out. Just like tell him to go home. Like,
Oh, just like literally like
well, kind of
you're
the
not
way that
dressing.
Jay Crowder is doing for the Suns right now. Like, he didn't like his role, so he went home. And they're working on a trade someday. Like, why couldn't they have just done this? I guess I don't know. I think LeBron and them still think that he can succeed, which is why a GM player is a bad idea.
I I'm a big LeBron at GOAT supporter here. We have talked many times on the show about this. This imbroglio with Westbrook is taking him down some GOAT notches.
Westbrolio?
Ooh, the West Brolio. Love that. That's a good team name. I might have to be the West Brolios next year. But it definitely is taking him down a notch in the overall GOAT standings. Because he's clear.
He's a bad GM, that's for
Yeah,
damn sure.
he's clearly hitching his wagon to some interesting horses.
Yeah. No, he probably should just do. He should probably get out of the way and let like the coaches, the GMs do their job. Not that the Lakers GM is particularly good to begin with. Like,
Yeah,
I
clearly.
mean, you could definitely argue that that Anthony Davis trade was a massive overpay, even though they won a title off it. Like,
What was that trade again? I don't even remember.
Lonzo, Ingram, Clarkson,
Oh God.
uh, who else? There's a couple others, and then like every draft pick for the next 10 years.
Is is LeBron with Lonzo Clark with what those players became? Clarkson,
That would be a better team.
that
I
is a
mean,
better team.
Lonzo, LeBron, Ingram would be like that would crush everybody.
That is essentially like the Pels, right?
Yeah, I mean that's
and
what they did. They traded. That's the best superstar trade for the other team that's ever happened because like they got a decade worth of drafts. They got a multi-time All-Star. They got a really good point guard that they inexplicably gave up on, and like a bunch of other guys too. So, and now they don't really ever have to worry about like they have a lottery pick for like the next like 3 years now,
is
basically.
that that that's the GM of the league right now, right? Like the Pels GM, like they're doing the best here.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
like he's doing well now, but like he was pretty bad at the beginning. David Griffin, you're talking about,
I
and he was not the GM who made the Davis trade. That was the
ah
previous
I see.
administration. Uh, so
Did
like he got there. Basically, the only thing he's really done is drafted Zion and traded for CJ.
hmm.
Both
Oh,
are good moves. I mean, like, good job. You drafted a generational prospect, and that fell into your lap.
yeah,
They did trade. They did. He did the Valanciunas for Steven Adams trade, which is a good trade.
that was a good trade for them for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So we wandered from the original start of Nets takes. Any further valuable Nets takes before we break down our matchup?
They bad.
Strong agree.
That's my
Strong
take.
agree.
They bad.
It's it is pretty incredible how most of the supposed good teams are bad right now.
They're old. That's the thing. Like
They're
we
old.
talked about this last year, and we'll come back to it again. This like generational change that is happening right now. But like the top 10 players of the league from 3 years ago, basically, are all kind of running out of gas at this point. Basically, stands like a couple who have had less miles on their tires.
Yeah, we should revisit this. This will be a future show topic for sure.
Yep.
Oh, am I sharing the wrong screen?
You're
What's
sharing a screen of our matchup.
good? Okay, sorry.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Bad production. See this? We gotta pay the producers more. This
Yep.
is just.
I told you. I told you. You got to pay for talent.
uh, yeah, I do think that this season especially like the Tatum rising, obviously Giannis, but like he's been around for a while. But like, yeah, I definitely think the conference finals this year will very much be the new guard of like completely. Because even like people like the Heat are kind of creaky. Like
Yeah.
Jimmy's already got some load
Butler's
management tonight.
Butler's getting older. Yeah. Well, I wasn't it last year. No, not last year because the Lakers were bad for a minute. But before they were bad for a minute, LeBron had been in the finals for like a decade straight.
Yeah, crazy.
And basically until like 2 years ago, every winner, since until like when the Bucks won, I guess that counts this year too, but like outside of that one, every championship since like 2010 either had LeBron, the Warriors, or Kawhi on it.
Yeah.
And that was it. If you weren't one of those three things, you didn't win. So everything's turning over a little bit. It's kind of fun.
New blood. All right.
And it shows in our fantasy rankings so far, I feel
It
like
does.
too. Like there's a lot of new blood rising to the top here.
That sounds weird. I mean, the best. We'll hold this because this will.
He's 3. My
yeah,
God,
he's 3.
He's gonna be my good vibes guy. But
mostly because he did 31, 11, and 4 on
73%.
Yeah.
Ew.
I was legitimately. He was that round. I was gonna pick him. I was like, I'm gonna get him this round. He's gonna be a great sleeper. And
they always say that about those top guys, that we were always gonna pick them the round that they went.
Respectfully, you know that I spoke my desire to sleeper pick Lowry before the draft.
This is true.
All right. I thank you for giving me that credit over there. Anyway, neither of those things matter because I'm gonna beat you this week anyway. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, should I be surprised?
Your team is bad.
My team is bad right now. I'm in a rebuilding mode at the moment. It's actually going quicker than I expected. I found a few guys that are definitely keepers. Yes, that's one of them.
Number 1 pickup of the season so far, Mr. Bull. Love it. Who can't love a bull?
Nobody had that on their bingo card this year. Like Bull fantasy superstar was not anywhere in anyone's preview of the season where they were like, oh, sleepers to look at. No.
Look, he is leading the league in blocks. Look at this. This is insane.
A lot of blocks.
He's got like 25 already, or 21. Is he 21? 21. Like, yeah. That's a lot of blocks. So that by
including
itself,
7 in the last 2 games.
Yes, there has been an inordinate amount of blocks, like big block games. Brook Lopez had 6 blocks in a game. Zubats had 7 in a game. like there have been some.
Combo has had 5 twice.
Yes. Kyrie had 4 in one game. Like there have been some monster just defensive. I don't know. I don't remember quite this many blocks even like early.
Going
seasons.
Going hard. I guess I don't know. It seems like everyone. I think a big part of that might be the take foul.
Like, I think you're right.
You're getting a lot more because a lot of blocks come in transition, especially guard blocks because they are usually the person back, and so like there's just so many more transition opportunities right now because of that. That like there's more shots going up, pace is faster, more points, and I think that is a big part of it.
I love this take. This is a great take. This is a beautiful take because it's correct, 1, and 2, because I'm surprised how much apparently that was like, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but like the fact that like how much better the game is with like that change.
I mean, there's probably like, this is an uneducated guess, but most games you'd watch, there's probably like at least 5 of those per game.
Oh yeah, because it was strategically smart, right? Like,
right, it was the right thing to do. Of course,
yeah.
you you head off an easy basket if you can.
So it's definitely an interesting thing where I thought there would have been more. I was expecting some like either just a wash or like some like unexpected consequences to happen, but it doesn't seem like neither of those happened. Like it's just purely better. There have been a couple of those like was it a take foul reviews, which clearly are going to be bad. So hopefully like
Yeah.
those stay low. But otherwise, yes, it's much better basketball.
A lot of Homer announcers are pissed off about it, though. That's what I've learned watching League Pass this year. But so that another reason that it's good.
Yeah, it's true. Like Homer announcers are fun. I am partial, I would have to say, to the Chicago announcers. I feel like they are Homer, but in a good way. They don't get too whiny, which I like. So I'm gonna stick
Portland's
to that.
got Kevin Calabro, so like we're spoiled forever.
Yeah. So who else in your rebuilding? Two questions for you, because we're gonna focus on this. Who's next out the door for you, and who are you happy with on the pickup side beside Mr. Bull Bull?
DFS is probably out the door. He just does not shoot the ball.
No.
Like he in previous years, I feel like he was good for more shots. Like when they were all standstill threes, but there was maybe more of them. Like it wasn't like 3 shots per game, and he made none of them. And his stock production is not very good. And I drafted it specifically for that.
That team even more this season is like Doncic and anybody else. Yeah, that seems weird to watch. I don't like watching those games.
Those one-man teams, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's not enjoyable. Okay, who do I like? Let's see. I don't know. Nobody. Caldwell Pope could be a guy. He might get traded out at some point because I think my blueprint is to basically just punt scoring and shooting. Because I'm just so far behind right now on it. Like I don't have like Towns is a decent scorer, but nobody on my team is gonna get you 50 ever. And so like, or even 30 is gonna be very rare. So I think I'm my move going forward is to punt the the kicking or punt the scoring and the shooting and yes, wrong mixing metaphors here and focus on like efficiency and stocks and hopefully getting like a good assist to turnover ratio. I'm paying a lot of attention to that. So like Monte Morris has like been really important for me, even though he doesn't really do much, but he'll get you like 6 assists and no turnovers, which
it's
is
funny.
valuable.
It's funny how you're describing the strategy because it is literally my strategy. So you're
you have some scoring though.
Not I have like all of my guys have a 25 point ceiling guys. This was a good discussion point last season. I think when we were talking about like you can target a block guy, you can target a triple double guy, and you can target like a big ass scorer guy.
Yeah.
And none of my guys are like they're all they can all go for 20, but nobody's going for 35. Like
yeah, well, Kawhi was supposed to be my big ass scorer guy, but he is not any kind of guy right now. If you click on him and look at the top news headline, it's hilarious.
Oh no, I'm excited.
So like the news thing, Kawhi is frustrated. Go up, just a little bit.
Right here. Officially listed as injured.
Oh no, okay. On the app, it just says Kawhi frustrated. It's like, yes, I too am frustrated, Kawhi Leonard, in your 20 minutes of action that you've played over like 2 games.
He wants to be out on the floor and then not being on the floor, and then now he can travel. He wants to travel.
It just keeps getting worse. So
that's unfortunate. I mean, like legitimately, like
like I figured that he was gonna be, he was gonna have his load management and stuff, but like he was full go in the preseason. He played 30 plus minutes in multiple preseason games for them and looked every bit like himself. Like part of the reason I drafted him is because I watched a number of Clippers preseason games and he looked very much like himself.
So you're saying you did your own research?
Oh, don't say that.
I'm sorry.
That is a phrase that has been tainted forever.
I know. I'm sorry.
Throw that one in the Kyrie bin.
Oh,
never to be said.
Well, I do feel for you because you did go for some swings in the draft that were
And they've
reasonable
all
swings,
been misses
and
so
they've
far.
all been misses. And like other folks would have taken most of your picks in the rounds that you did if you didn't. Like it's not like you were over picking those folks either. And I feel like you just the whammy has befallen you, unfortunately.
Whammy after whammy. It's fine. It'll, I'll stay active. It'll come back around. Triple J will be back at some point. That will be helpful.
I just have to highlight the opposite effect of somebody who like swing hits all of their bets currently, which is Joe, unfortunately, which
The only undefeated team left.
yes, after
Womp
two
womp.
weeks.
The less that can be said about that, the better.
Yes. Mostly because Lowry Markkinen is
Beasting.
lighting it up.
All right. Quick, like first thing that comes to your head. What team is he on at the end of the season?
The Bulls pick him back up.
Full circle.
He'd actually be so good on that team. No, he wouldn't be good on that team right now. He's not good for that team. Let me rethink with that. Man, is it wrong to think like Denver? Like go trade for
I
him?
was gonna say Dallas.
Dallas is like Dallas is the answer for that question for literally anybody right now, right?
Yeah,
Like
he specifically makes a lot of sense though because they have really good defenders everywhere that could cover up for him, and then he can shoot the hell out of it and get all those wide open. Actually, he can't shoot the hell out of it. That's what's interesting about him. He's not a good shooter, despite what everyone thinks.
I mean, that's what is going on this season right now. Is he's shooting at such a better percentage than he ever has?
Yeah,
Like
isn't he like a career
bad, like
like
40%.
he's like a below average 3-point shooter for his career, right?
He was like
Yeah, until now.
until like he has what one game under 40% and three under 50%. Like he is lighting it up right now. Yeah, I mean, like in prior seasons, that was always the frustration. Like he was very inefficient. And actually didn't even get boards at the I think he's just been given the reins and he has the freedom. He's kind of like a little cat, right? Like I mean that's like this is kind of the numbers that he's putting up.
He's the kitty.
The kitten. Oh, Laurie the kitten. Oh,
So cute.
Mark a kitten.
Marketing.
Um, so
Sabonis hasn't. Going back to Joe's team, Sabonis hasn't been as good as we'd hoped. He's had a good couple games, but the Kings are dumb, and in the same way that the Pacers were dumb with him, and like just don't give him the ball at the end of games. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like both
agreed.
teams did. Like when the Kings traded for him, I was like, well, at least he'll touch the ball in the second half, and then he still doesn't for some reason. It
Yeah,
makes no sense. It's not his fault. Like it's not anybody's fault. It's just stupid.
yeah, that team. Well, that team just doesn't know what they're doing. So I do think to your question about marketing, yeah, I think Dallas will be my answer to that question until they start trading for people.
They don't really have anything to trade though. Although they do have all their picks, I think. I think they have all their picks still. So that's
they
what
just
Utah wants.
yeah, and they clearly just need to trade for something. They need to figure that out somehow because like that team is just not good
They
enough.
just need more punch, like
Yeah.
that they don't have, and you can like as much as that they went really far in the postseason on Doncic and nobody else, like eventually that gets figured out by a good team.
Yeah. And like he gets whiny and stops trying
And
all
tired. Like that was always what used to happen to Harden on those Rockets teams is he would get too tired and he'd be out because he didn't ever sit games out. So like he would be completely out of gas by the time playoffs started and be terrible.
Yeah. The one current interesting thing, it's still early in the season, obviously, but it's a very unusual leader like player board right now for our league where it's nearly all not big guys. Like Jokic up front because he's just always going to be there, but then pretty much, not until you get down to like Gobert.
Guards up there.
Yeah. Because
But you know what you're seeing in there? And for some reason Kyrie is doing this too. Good rebounding guards. I don't know why Kyrie is suddenly a good rebounder, but
I bet it goes back to the take foul. to your whole point, guard blocks, but
Yeah,
missed transition
guard
equal guard
contests.
boards.
Yeah, maybe. Because Halliburton is getting boards for me. Curry is getting some boards, even though he doesn't usually do that. Like he had a triple double the other night.
I mean, he's got almost more rebounds than assists. I
That's
think
a weird team this year.
that is. They're not
Like Clay
they're
and Draymond are bad, and the young guys are bad, and Poole is meh. Like it's gonna be all Curry. Like I could see them having to like they probably will get hot and win like 20 in a row and make me look like an idiot. But I could see them like not just walking into the playoffs in a way that you would expect them to. Like I could see them if Clay's not right, if Draymond continues to decline the way he is, that like they could be fighting for, a sixth, fifth ish type of seed because they have to like take their time. They can't just go full bore all the time, and they don't really have to.
Mhm.
But unless the young guys step up a little bit, those I think the big three are probably gonna have to log more minutes than the team probably wants them to.
Yeah, I don't think Clay. I think Clay has a very much lower ceiling now. He just doesn't look as
He
good.
also like took the whole summer off
Yeah.
for
Uh,
recovery purposes.
I think there's still animosity in there, whatever they say, like between Draymond and Poole. And then I think part of it is they are missing a big guy. Like so many teams now in the league have proper like big centers have come back and they're getting
Yeah.
bullied a lot of games and they don't have like Draymond can't guard some of these big centers the same way anymore that he used to be able to. Not the same way. And because those wings aren't as good as they used to be, like they don't have that same like devil may cry small ball defense that they used to have, and they're getting bullied.
Bigger. The game has gotten bigger again. Like
Yeah.
instead of sizing down a position, you're starting to like size up a position. Like you want a big three, a third big as your small forward. Paolo playing small forward for Orlando. That three big lineup that Cleveland likes to throw out there. Like you're getting more of that. It's pendulum swung back the other way for sure.
Well, and all those guys are mobile. I mean,
Yeah,
like you can do that when you have somebody like a Mobley.
there's just more good bigs now
Yeah.
too. Like there's a lot of good bigs.
Along those lines, as we start, maybe we can get into our good vibe, bad vibe. My good vibe guy is the Splash Mountain. In fact, on this trend, having him a hell of a season, and I think
believe he has not been activated by his owner for any weeks this season, if I'm correct.
let me look. Let's look at the Taco Jays here. How is he on the bench?
Not great planning.
Over Brandon Clark, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Clark playing over Splash Mountain right now.
Let's not give him too many hits because otherwise that team's pretty good.
The team is really good.
Yeah.
He's having himself a good season. He's always a fan favorite, but
yeah, he's very likable. I mean, all the Bucks are a good vibe right now. Like
Bucks are definitely a good vibe.
That team is undefeated. Giannis somehow looks. I mean, I don't know if they're still undefeated. Have they lost yet?
No, they're still undefeated.
Okay.
They look good.
Giannis somehow seems to continue to get better, and they're doing all this without Middleton too. Like he's not playing right now, so that team's ridiculous.
Wait, where is Giannis? Giannis is he up here? Where is Giannis? Interesting.
Is he lower?
17. I just didn't see him. Still rough on the free throws, but he's got work.
And he turns it over a lot too.
Yeah.
He never is. He's always a little low on the rank for those reasons.
All right. So who's a good vibe for you? I had.
We already talked about Laurie, who was gonna be mine. So let me pick my standby here. Hold on.
It's true. I apologize. We did sort of cover multiple Bull, Laurie.
Yeah, you kind of took out most of my people. Brock. Okay, calm down, bro.
Who else?
Oh, my other one was Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Ooh, Shea. He's up here too.
Is crushing. They're gonna have to shut him down like next week. They're gonna win too many games.
that team is
That team's
spunky.
gonna be that team as soon as they decide to stop tanking will be good.
They
Like
need a big, and they're dangerous. Like,
I mean like if they get Victor, their like whole thing completely pays itself off. Like Shea, Giddy, Victor, Chet, like all
oh,
the
I forgot about
weird
Chet.
long player. Yeah, he's still there. And then all the random other guys like Dort and all the other dudes that they have, like that team will be good as soon as they stop. This is probably, if I had to guess, I think this is their last tank year.
I mean, it's got to be because like he's too good. Like he's way
Also,
too good.
like they are getting to the point where they're having to cut lottery picks that they drafted
Yeah.
because they have too many lottery picks.
This is a perfect example that gets me a little mad. Like that team, go invest now. Like Shea's, he's too good. Like to dump another season. Like
I think if Victor didn't exist, they'd be going for it this season.
I think that's probably fair.
They also just re-signed Shea to a huge deal, so clearly he's on board.
Yeah. But what I mean is like you got to start using the mileage, right? Like this is just empty mileage, and like that's bad, like clearly bad, because like you're
Him
just
only playing like half the year every year means that like later on his prime will probably be extended.
so I am with you. I hope if even if they like don't get the big pick, like they just need to go for it, like because what's interesting about that team, right? What they need is what is in surplus in the league. Like they can go get a couple bigs real fast. Like that is what exists out there. What doesn't exist is like point guards who are putting up 35, 8, and 8 every game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see like if he can be a number one on a good team because he's really talented.
yeah,
Um,
and they want him to be. So like they're gonna
yeah.
give him the ball. So that's cool.
And then, as soon as as soon as they make their decision that it's time to go for it, they can cash in like half of those picks for like a really good impact player and still have like 500 picks left over
Yeah.
to continue to like cheaply stock the bench.
Yeah, they're set up well. Most of these teams, the spunky teams, Pell's set up well. OKC's legitimately set up well. Other team that I was thinking of,
Orlando.
Orlando set up
They'll be
well.
good soon, probably a year or two if Paolo continues on his trajectory.
They and interestingly, on the opposite side of the spectrum, all they need is point guard,
Or any guard.
any guard whatsoever.
Anybody who could dribble would be great.
Which is I think the problem right now is like who's that market? There is no market. Like who's even on the market for that of a caliber that they need. Like
I think it also shows how the league has changed yet again. Like playmaking is now the thing that is the most value. From any position.
Yeah.
Like point guards and shooting guards are a lot more valuable than they were 2-3 years ago. When it looked like just everybody had a good point guard, and so it's like, oh look, another point guard, nobody cares.
Yeah, it is interesting how it's almost like this weird market dynamic, like nobody had wings and all of a sudden everybody had like now it's just so many wings. It's all the wings. And then back in the point guard heydays with like Lob City and all those teams and when John Wall wasn't hurt and all those teams, everybody had a point guard. It's like who needs point guard, right? And now it's like all those people got old and broken and none of them can play anymore.
Yeah, now we need more point guards, and now we have a ton of bigs, and yeah, it's all cyclical.
Well, let's take this opportunity. I have a
All
trivia
right.
question for you. I have a trivia
Okay.
question.
And then you'll do your good vibes guy.
Oh, I did mine. I thought mine was
Oh yeah,
mine
you
was
did yours
Brooke.
already. Yeah,
Mine
it
was
was
Brooke.
Splash Man. We'll do bad after this.
Yes, we'll do bad vibes next. But I have a trivia question. What actual team has the most players currently rostered in our league right now? I will tell you the number
Like
is
which NBA basketball
which
team?
NBA basketball team is the most active, the most not no active and inactive, but the most players rostered in our league on teams.
I get the context.
The
I'm gonna
number is
say
9, just
okay.
which is surprising.
I'm gonna say I have two thoughts on who it might be, and I think it's either. Actually, I have three. I think it's no. I have four. I think it's.
I
I'm
need
gonna
one.
just give you.
I
I'm gonna
need
give you
one.
my four answers.
No, I need one. Just
All
start
right,
with one.
fine. Detroit,
No,
Toronto.
not even close.
Dang it. Miami.
Not even less close.
I'm getting worse. Okay.
Getting colder.
Who is it?
The correct answer is the one and only Orlando Magic.
Interesting. Wow. I mean,
And
that makes sense because they
not
have.
even because of Mikey.
It's true. I have one. Does everybody have a Magic on their team
A
almost?
lot of
Like
people have Magic, and then like
Mikey has like four of them.
they have a lot of injured folks. So that's what actually is the
Oh, and the injury spots.
yeah.
Like
So that
Jonathan Isaac sitting there and Suggs and yeah,
yes.
that it
Uh,
floats.
and so with that knowledge, who is number two?
Oh God. Is it another bad team?
It is another bad team.
My brain tells me Houston.
No, they're just too bad.
Okay, because they just have a lot of random players. Okay, who's number two?
Charlotte.
You.
But for injury, right? So in reality, it's because like all of the people who got drafted in the draft are bad, and so then all of their backups are playing and have been picked up
Yes,
off the waiver.
that is good. That is a good take.
And
Okay.
and LaMelo is not playing.
Let's see. Bad vibe. Okay. So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I will go first because I want to knock on a player I drafted and immediately dumped. Harrison Barnes is a very bad vibe this season. Not that he was ever like,
Hangs.
not that he was ever some standout guy, but man, he just doesn't matter anymore. It was brutal. He is last couple games he's done a little better, but he's shooting terrible. He's just bad. He's not good.
I feel like that's not a whole lot different than he usually is.
He used to shoot it a little better, and he definitely like last season for sure scored a lot more points. Like he was like their number one option basically after Fox, or he's the number two option after Fox, and now he's like their number five. Like he's just not.
They're a better team now.
Yes,
right. That helps.
So that's my bad vibe because I'm sad about it.
Okay, my bad vibe is a very high pick, Joel Embiid.
Ooh, that is a quality bad vibe. He's looked sad and like he does not look happy. He looks
off. Like he's getting some numbers. Like he gets his points, his rebounds, but he's got a lot of turnovers. And
he's not even getting his rebounds the last couple of games. I mean, like him not getting a double-double.
Yeah, he should be a guaranteed 10 rebounds a night. That's just another team like the Nets that is definitely a bad vibe. Like, I mean, he's clearly still if you drafted him probably second or third, right? He's still getting you a lot of raw numbers. Like he's still getting you a lot of buckets. He hits some threes. He shoots the free throws well. He gets a ton of those.
4 turnovers a game.
But he's turning it over, and he's not getting a lot of like his, shooting's okay. It's below where it usually is. Like,
and only 1-3 a game, which is usually what he was contributing. He's not shooting that.
And Harden is definitely like eclipsed him as the number one option on that team right now.
What I found really interesting is the singular good grain of vibe on that team is Maxey, and whenever he doesn't play, Maxey goes for like 40.
Yes,
have you noticed that?
There's all these like wacky numbers about his on off with Harden, and how like when Harden is on the bench, he runs like 1,000 pick and rolls, and is like the primary guy. And then when Harden's in, he basically just stands in the corner, and that's all he does. Or like sometimes runs a fast break.
I more and more like Harden, like for all of his like league shapingness, I don't think he's ever gonna do anything. Like because he's just weird. Like
he's very weird. It's very hard to figure him out.
It's just too warped. He's like too warped, right? Like it's too far.
He's actually not. He's playing a lot more like normal this year. He shoots like he'll actually shoot a shot that's not a 3 or a layup. And he like he shoots mid-range jumpers again, and he shoots them well.
I mean, that started last season a little bit because he couldn't drive anymore. Like he clearly
Yeah,
doesn't want to go bang at the
he's
rim every day.
well, yeah. I mean, the way he threw his body around in his like younger years to flop everywhere was not a wise decision and does not translate to good old man game.
No,
So
I
I think
agree.
he's kind of figuring out his old man game right now. And, it would be really interesting to see him like as like a third guy who the whole offense doesn't revolve around. Where, he was on a team like that last year, but he forced himself off of it with good foresight. But
He would be an incredible pay cut for a ring guy. Like he would be the all-time pay cut for a ring guy.
yeah, he's gonna show up on like, the Pelicans in 3 years when they're contending,
How
and
about
he's gonna go
or the
ahead.
Magic?
Oh God, don't you're giving Mikey too much false hope here.
He'd
What
be
if
so
that? Can you
good. He'd
imagine?
be
Can you
so good
imagine?
on the Magic. He'd be so good on the Magic right
He would.
now.
He'd be incredible on
He'd
that
be
team.
so good on that team.
Except he'd take too many touches away from Bol Bol, so I don't like it.
And Paulo. I
Yeah,
think actually weirdly he would be exactly what they need.
Paolo's actually got a little hardened in him. If
I
you like
like
look,
Paulo.
if you squint a little bit, you can see it.
He's just bigger. We
Yeah,
can't. Okay,
same style.
we're like fully diverting into Magic fandom here. I think we need
Yeah,
to. I
we
think
need
we
to
need
get
to.
out of here.
We,
Yeah, I messed up watching
we,
so many Magic games on League Pass. It's not good.
we need
It's
to go
not
down.
good. It's not good for your health.
We'll
Would
turn
not
into Mikey
recommend.
slowly. On that note, until 3 more Magic games and you're back in timeout next week. It's always nice. Have a good night.
They're